This video essay is brought to you by Teeblox.
Before we get started, I just want to say one really tiny thing. I was never a big Star Wars guy. When I was growing up, we didn't really have the Star Wars that people have now. We didn't have movies like Rogue One or The Force Awakens. Instead, we had movies like The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith.
I don't like sand.
And whether you think the prequels are fantastic or you hate them, the quality isn't there. There's a significant difference between the quality of Attack of the Clones and The Force Awakens, in the sense that Attack of the Clones is really rather boring, and The Force Awakens is kind of good. I was in junior primary in 2002. Around that time, Attack of the Clones came out. We had The Phantom Menace earlier, and it was safe to say that I didn't really care about Star Wars, simply because I saw those films and I found them really boring. If you asked a kid like me, would you rather go see a new Star Wars movie or would you rather go see Spider-Man 3? I would probably say Spider-Man 3. And then I grew up. I was about 17 when I first saw the original Star Wars, 1977, directed by George Lucas. Upon concluding that first film, I finally understood why so many people adore this saga. I finally got it. Now, the first Star Wars is incredible in lots of ways. George Lucas produces something that is so immaculate and has since, in my honest opinion, I don't think has been touched. A lot of people love this first film. And whether you love it for the cinematography, the characters, the music, the world, there is one scene in that film that I think combines everything that people love in Star Wars and an example of a perfect scene. The scene or moment that I'm talking about is, of course, the binary sunset. Now, a bit of context before I get into what's really going on here. So before this scene, we've already been introduced to some iconic Star Wars characters like Darth Vader, Princess Leia, C-3PO, and R2-D2. This isn't even the first time we see Luke Skywalker. George Lucas has already done that. He has set up this beautiful world, this immaculate and huge story, and then he shrinks it to this beautifully intimate moment that captures the entire saga. Luke Skywalker in this scene is really the audience's eyes and ears. Like us, this is the first time Luke is experiencing the Star Wars universe, the planets, the lore, the Jedi, the Sith. He's experiencing all of it for the first time. When we're introduced to Luke, he's nothing but a simple farm boy who has these dreams of becoming a rebel pilot and joining the academy. His dream is so fabricated and utterly unrealistic. This planet could also serve as an extended metaphor for the boring and mundane life he currently lives. Lucas beautifully uses dramatic irony directly before this scene. When Luke's aunt asks him where he's going once he gets up and leaves the dinner table, he states,
"Where are you going?"
Looks like I'm going nowhere.
Of course, the audience knows that Luke's destiny lies far beyond the two sons of Tatooine. As Luke angrily leaves his home, frustrated about his uncle's unenthusiastic remark about him joining the academy, Luke stares at the two sons of Tatooine. Directly before this, Lucas focuses on Luke in the foreground. It's deserted. It's not very appealing. It's relatively boring. But to him, this is home. And despite what he feels, he can't really change that. Ultimately, Luke knows that the right thing to do is to stay with his uncle. As brilliantly pointed out by Reddit user JChol3's incredible dissection of this scene, Luke doesn't actually hate his uncle. He hates Tatooine. To further prove this, before Luke even walks towards the sun, he directly kicks the ground of Tatooine. Now, he didn't need to do this, but Lucas uses visual storytelling here perfectly. Lucas wants the audience to empathize with Luke. Before Lucas can change the camera angle, Luke walks up a tiny hill. It's only about this high. But it shows that Luke is elevating. He's rising up. Maybe he can grow. Following this, Lucas cuts to a close-up. Here, the audience watches as Luke internally discusses his two options. Does he stay or does he go? This is something that many of us have or will inevitably ask ourselves. Now, Lucas could have easily written a line of dialogue that spoon-feeds the audience of how Luke is feeling. But he doesn't. Lucas has incredible confidence in his film and in the performance of Mark Hamill. When we're in this little bit here, Williams' score has quietened down. It's mellow, it's free-flowing, and it's not very powerful. It's soft and intimate. Lucas then cuts to the two suns, one clear and full of opportunity and potential, and the other coloured and lowered to the ground. If you actually watch closely, the orange sun on the right actually continues to lower as Luke stares at it. These two suns represent Luke's options and his two lives. The sun on the left indicates that he does not belong lowered on the ground, but in the stars. In addition to representing the two lives he lives, one where he stays on Tatooine and one where he goes to the academy, these two suns could also represent the internal struggle between the light and dark sides of the Force. The sun on the left is pink and light, indicating a warm and loving environment, while the sun on the right is orange and dark, indicating perhaps a future in the dark side of the Force. It even draws a stark comparison between the sun and the red lightsaber. As Lucas cuts back to Luke, Williams' score elevates in both volume and power. This is a symbolic representation of Luke accepting what he has to do. But before he can, he looks to Tatooine once more. He is upset and confused. Life isn't terrible on Tatooine. He's not a slave like his father, or it's not a complete shithole like Jakku in The Force Awakens.
Back to Jakku! Why does everyone want to go back to Jakku?
It puts Luke in a situation where the audience can relate to him. When we live at home, I still live at home, and we want to make that decision to move out. We want to leave everything that we've ever known. We contemplate and we think, why am I leaving? It's exactly what Luke is feeling. This isn't the life he wants to live. After looking to the ground, Luke raises his head once more. He almost smiles as he does so. He stares directly at the sunset, and Williams' score powers through. He even raises his neck and puffs out his chest in a way that he has not done before. It is in this moment that he almost feels like this is exactly what he's meant to do. But in a moment of swift beauty, Lucas makes Luke realize this is just a dream. Williams' powerful score weakens. His dream is over. His moment of freedom and bliss comes to a complete halt as he returns to the world he cannot bear. Now, this scene represents many different things for many different people, but like the sunset cannot outrun the darkness that comes with night, Luke cannot escape his destiny. Despite accepting his life on Tatooine, destiny finds a way. Luke can't deny the stars, because he doesn't belong on the ground. He belongs in the sky. This is super evident when Luke returns home later in the film and finds his aunt and uncle brutally murdered. And it's that moment that he realizes that he can't outrun it anymore. That sunset was the metaphoric sunset of Luke's old life. I think this gorgeous scene is incredibly relatable for anyone. Lucas perfects visual storytelling here. Luke realizes what he was always meant to be. Before you go see the latest film, The Last Jedi, I think it's really important you rewatch this original, because it is a brilliant representation of a perfect scene. Hey guys, today I just want to talk to you very briefly about one of my awesome new sponsors, Teeblox. Now, Teeblox is a t-shirt subscription service where you pay $8.99 a month and you get licensed t-shirts delivered to your door. Some of these licenses include Disney, Marvel, DC Comics, HBO, Naruto, and of course, Star Wars. With Teeblox, you can choose what you want every month. It's not so random. Let's say one month you're in a Star Wars mood. Choose Star Wars. You go on the website, you choose the Star Wars option, and bang, it's delivered to your door. So I just want to give you guys the awesome opportunity to sign up for Teeblox right now. If you use the discount code that appears on the screen as I'm talking, you get 10% off your first purchase with Teeblox. Unfortunately, because it is such a busy time of the year with Christmas coming up and the fact that I live in Australia, which is on the complete other side of the world, my Teeblox order has not arrived yet, and I can't show you guys all the awesome stuff that I'm getting. Because I'm in a giving mood and it is getting to the happy holidays, I just want to give you guys an awesome opportunity to win a free Star Wars themed Teeblox. If you comment below your favorite Star Wars film, you will go into the running to get one. Teeblox's link is in the description below, as well as the discount code in case you missed it when it appeared on the screen. So thank you guys very much, and I'll see you when I see you.
There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight.